Don't take the risk. Stay alive, be alive, and live well.
This message is from Mainland.
Very beautiful Monday evening to you. Welcome to the Situation Room live on Mainland 98.3 FM. How did your weekend go? I'm sure, of course, except a football fan, except a Chelsea fan specifically, I'm sure that's the only reason why you would have a very exciting weekend. But the All Progressive Congress, all of the 20 local government and 37 LCDs were cleared on Saturday. In fact, all out of the 376 councillorship seats, we have 375 went to the APC, with only one going to the People's Democratic Party. We'll talk about the conduct of the election later on the show. Mr. Olubolaji Fadashe, a big shout out to my friend and colleague as well, Victor Achibong. He was also on the streets, to monitor the conduct of the election and even side forward as well for the people to come out and vote on Saturday. Well, we have some numbers, interesting numbers for Ikeja, for ABDUR of the election generally. And, if maybe we can do more in terms of sensitization, in terms of letting the people know, why they need to get involved with local government election in Lagos. But again, congratulations to all of the chairmen and vice chairmen elects and all of the councillors elect in Lagos on the platform of the APC and the memory of the immediate past president, now that died yesterday, President Muhammadu Buhari, Lagos East Senatorial Districts from 1999 to 2003. I was also the Minister of Works from 2003 to 2000. Muhammadu Buhari, you look at the interns earlier, died many years ago and it was cloned, this and that. I still watch the interview between Queen of England actually wrote a letter, to commiserate with the death of interns. Did they actually believe that who we had as president was not the real Buhari we voted for, but they said it's one Jubilee from Sudan? You always have ways around well of this. I'll run you through some of the information you need to know while I will link up with our guest. Yes, that's Senator Ogunlewe is going to be my guest on the show today. So let me quickly run through all of these things. The honors over the years for Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, GCFR, Medal GSM, Loyal Service and Good Conduct, LSGCM, also Force Service Staff, FSS, the Congo Medal, Global 1 and 1988, to Sefina to Buhari. So he was blessed with 10 children. Well, let's play with some numbers. 4 times, 2007 and 2011 to be president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And within those times, he was contesting. He first ran on the platform of the All Nigerian People's Party, ANPP. It was unsuccessful. Then he ran on the platform of the CPC. He also didn't win the election until 2015 after the formation of the APC. So we had the collapse of the CPC, the ADP governors that left the party. So Muhammadu Buhari eventually coalition or the merger back then, he emerged as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and he served his term for 8 years. 9 years, 7 months, and 27 days as Nigeria's leader. 1 year, 7 months, and 27 days as military leader. From December 31st, 1983, all the way down to August 27, 1985, when he was 29, 2015 to May 29, 2023. Let's play with more numbers. Key position held. I was the governor of the northeastern states in 1970, Freedom and Natural Resources in 1976 as well. In 1977, he became the chairman of NNPC. And in August, between August 1980 to October 1981, he was the general officer commanding 4th Infantry Division. From October 1981 to December 1983, he was the general officer commanding 3rd Armed Division. As 1994 and 1998, he was the chairman of the second longest serving leader in Nigerian history. I have some soundbite for you. The first is going to be the former president, Olusegun, the former military head of state that ushered us into this democracy that we're enjoying. Late President Buhari himself have been interviewed after he left office as regards how many houses does he have in the UK, does he have in Dubai. I take a listen to what he said. We'll play you these three sound bites. One would come back. Hopefully, Senator Ogunlewe would be joining us on the show. We look at the man, Muhammadu Buhari, that died yesterday. His body has been flown into the country today, but the burial will be done tomorrow in Daura in Katsina State, his home state. So we look at him, his time, is the myth surrounding him today. Who takes over the leadership from the north? The block votes that the president was returning in 2003, 2007, 2011, 2015. Who is the point of our late president Muhammadu Buhari? Who takes over? What are the implications on the political calculation from Abdulsalam Abubakar? And next is going to be Olusegun Obasanjo, and after then you hear the man himself, Muhammadu Buhari. Stick around.
I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there is not. If there were,
In our to Friday, the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected.
Political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us now, there is nothing, we are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join Opeyemi Akinyode as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM. We'll welcome you, roommates, as we discuss the situations.
unfortunately, we were in the same hospital together, but I have been discharged. So when I heard the news of his passing away, I quickly went there to condole with the family.
Muhammadu, that he tried his best and accept him into his kingdom. It's a loss to the nation because at a time like this, we need the totality of the experience and what I may call statesmanship of all those who have had opportunity to run the affairs of this country in the past to get us out of the situation we are in. He will be sorely missed.
And he asked me whether I have a house here. I say no. I have, even in Nigeria, the only house I have are those I had before I got into government. And I'm not very much interested in having, assets all over the place.
Understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there is not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us now, there is nothing, we are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join Opeyemi Akinyode as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and on your super dial.
Thank you very much and welcome back. Thank you again for still staying with us. You're live from Mainland 98.3 FM. This is the Situation Room. and it comes up every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. This is the space where we have conversation around politics, around leadership, around accountability, and everything. Yesterday, it wasn't just the former president, the immediate past president, that Awujale of Ijebuland, Obasikiru Kayode Adetono, of April 1960. So he also died yesterday at birthday. Yesterday. So I mean, it's a blend of a whole Kazim Shettima in London when he went to of the late president Aisha Buhari and the children as well. But they're back in the country. I also saw some videos. A friend of mine at the airport, I just dropped the quick updates that the different interpretations and reservations about our opinions. But I always tell people that you mock the dead because you're still alive today. For me, people have the rights to when the late military dictator was made that everyone has a free pass to heaven. People were rejoicing. I remember I was staying with very, very little then. Things had to just be the king. Yes, I ran for president 3 times. I ran in 2011. He lost the election until he ran on the platform of the newly formed Abubakar in that election. Well, they said it was Nigeria's first peaceful power transfer from incumbent to opposition. Put a call through to the man that would eventually become his successor. Talking about the late Muhammadu Buhari. He served as 2 terms as president 2015, campaign on anti-corruption, insecurity, and fixing the Nigerian economy. He took charge of the petroleum ministry to fight oil theft, and mixed results actually followed. The Niger Delta unrest and a host of other things. Well, I had general and the effort that was also being put to support and work on the welfare of the military. Well, again, Buhari's tenure saw 2 recessions. There were rising inflation. 2010 candidate of the APC top this country. I would never forget the fact that I was using money to 15,000 and then they give you 10,000. Some are even dirtier actions. Those times there were 2 recessions during his tenure. There were rising inflation and the controversial currency. Remember also what I started this conversation with, the death rumor and the cloned saga. While receiving treatment in London in 2017, there were rumors that he died and was replaced by a Sudanese double-named Jubril. He publicly denied it and he said, "This is real me." 2023, handed over to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on 29th of May 2023. His legacies from Jordan Barracks to Aso Rock. Buhari's journey is one of power, controversy, and endurance. And on behalf of every one of us, we say, rest in peace. Okay, Putin at the Federal Republic of Nigeria. First, he was a military dictator. Then he came back as a democratically elected president after winning his election 2003 under the ANPP. Then there was the CPC in 2011, and then there was the 2015 where he eventually ran alongside Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the former commissioner for justice in Lagos State, and they were together for 8 years under his presidency. He was born in Dara in 19, father at 4, and joined the military at the age of 19, trained in 1975. He became the military governor of the North Petroleum on the 31st of December 1983. Well, as a military ruler, he took over power via a coup, and he launched the war against indiscipline and cracked down on corruption, but he was accused of authoritarian. He was overthrown and detained, and in 1985, General was too strict for Nigeria's climate at that time. But of course, he stayed the court to challenge the outcome of that result, and finally, after 4 times, ladies and gentlemen, I pray again that his soul will find rest, even as he gets buried, laid to rest with the entire state ceremony. He will be buried tomorrow in Dara.
Things seems anxious and uncertain, but there is not.
At 30 p.m. Monday to Friday, the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue
to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted in Opeyemi Akinyode as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you.
Between October 2024 and January 2020, the last 2 years, in more than half a decade, tragedy had feasted on many human bodies in many Nigerian states. Scooping fuel from an overturned petrol tanker is not just risky, it is downright suicidal. Petrol, diesel, kerosene, and gas are highly flammable. One spark and disaster strikes. Ignorance or hardship cannot justify putting your own life on the line to prevent a potential explosion. It is better to stay alive for your loved ones who depend on you than any way being otherwise. Remember
3FM, the sound of Lagos.
Things seems anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there is not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us, man, there is nothing, we are starving.
Ask seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and 30 p.m. on your super dial mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you roommates as we discuss the situations.
things seems anxious and uncertain.
Thank you very much, and thank you once again for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Talking about President 2015 to 2019, joining me in the within the time he was minister. Brought a lot of innovations and all of that into that sector, and started by SHITTU is live on the show. Good evening, Honorable, and thank you for joining us.
My very big pleasure. My very big pleasure.
Okay. But thank you for technology, and something you should also take some form of credit for making this happen.
Thank you so very much.
Okay. With the former president, the late president now, Muhammadu Buhari, that died yesterday. I've been reading through his as a president, 2003, 2007, 2011, until Daura, until he moved to Kaduna just a few months ago. His death was announced yesterday. His body has been flown in today, and then he will be buried tomorrow. What a man. Let me ask you straight up, because you also supposed to have that first-hand information. What kind of person?
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you.
What kind of?
Tried his military background. This is one person who, when I served him for the 4 years I served, was perhaps the most incorruptible Nigerian politician who lived in our time. He didn't have any heirs, but around him. He was one person who was completely happy that he is a model of incorruptibility in national governance. I give all Nigerians the duty to continue to pray for him
that God would make his soul repose in the best of psychological. He would never establish any relationship with corruption or sleaze. And for me, I take that from him, that he was one person. He was never harsh, all those who worked around him.
Distance, you also served as part of his cabinet, and within that period, because of how available you are in engaging the people and all of that, you were regarded as one of the most popular members of his cabinet. Talk to us about some moments, one-on-one experiences you've had with him beyond his responsibility as a Nigerian president. What did you find the most fascinating about him, even as Muhammadu Buhari himself?
Well, he minded his business, not try to dictate to anybody. He would not try to push anybody around. He minded his business, and the national interest was always his focus of operation. To plead that before him, there was no Nigerian leader in Nigeria who had been abandoned for more than 10 years before he came. It was during his time that the road was revived until today. We all enjoy Lagos Ibadan in record time. He did so many other roads too, in the North Central, in the Northwest, in the North at that time. That is BR, our former Minister of Work.
Hello.
So those are some of the things I can remember.
Okay. I mean, since his death was announced yesterday, there's been mixed reactions to her promise to fight corruption, promise to fix the economy, promise to also end the insecurity, which a lot of Nigerians felt was a unique selling point when it was some of our security problems. Within that period of 8 years, how much do you think he was able to do in some of the promises?
No doubt about it. But he's only discovered that to adopt the strategies used during his military era. You know that the importance of foundations of fighting corruption, just as that of fighting an anti-corruption, there's a lot of things to the, justice operators, particularly fighting insurgency. You will recall that during his time, he acquired so many equipment, including, aircrafts for use in the fight against. But again, as a civilized society, there are procedures which must be adopted and which must be followed. He did his best in conforming to that. Of course, there were so many complaints by grand officers who were complaining that resources or allowances meant for them were not getting to respect the rights of the foot soldiers. Generally, if you look at the North, we have to look at the cause of those kind of banditry as opposed to the Boko Haram, the rebellion against the old order in those, some of the bandits who were arrested were henchmen, in the sense that some of charges were usually heaped upon them, and then they were arrested and fined very huge sums. More often than not, their cattle were taken over by the Hausa, establishment. So these, created a new kind of, criminality, which that through the then Minister of Agri, there was a plan to establish ranches, which was in other people's farms, and ransack the place. I think the problem was with the Hausa establishment, who resisted the cattle ranches which were planned. The the lands in those places didn't belong to the Hausa leadership. I think the frustrated government at that point in time. In any case, Buhari was a man of God, and he ensured that everybody had his own right.
Working with Barrister ABDUR-RAHEEM ADEBAYO SHITTU, the former now late president, assuming come up to the 20th region of the country, he will have been the best president we never had. That was funny. I mean, there are a lot of myths around him. One of them is called JᴏɪR, and then he had to come out himself to say, I am the real one. I'm still here. I mean, talk to us about some of those things.
He just smiles at it, because obviously a lot of the rumors are stupid rumors, which no commonsensical person should waste time on. So he will just take it with some, with a wry smile. I mean, and of those serious, because those arguments and news articles were themselves very stupid. It didn't make sense that it's for anybody, because they know that death will come once it has come, and once it comes, the man is very, like for instance, he died yesterday, he'll be buried tomorrow. With the type of societal, status within a month. But here he is to be buried tomorrow.
Okay, I will soon let you go, Barrister Shittu. But what do you think Nigerians would remember that when Buhari was the head of PTF, this and that, nobody stole money. He was always talking about the war against indiscipline. He was saying all of that. But I'm sure a lot of younger generation right now, which sometimes I see, them comment on some of the Buhari now late. What do you think Nigerians would remember him for? And the 8 years he was president, at which he served as 4 years as his minister, what do you also want to remember him for?
Yeah, I want to remember him as somebody who is very unobtrusive, who does not harass any of the people working with him. He just confides, he expects you to, behave yourself. And even at council meetings, he did less talking. Other council members should do all the talking. And he just gives the concluding remark on every issue. I enjoyed my stay with him, of course, and I pray that God rewards him for taking me to the politically to the national level.
I pay your last respect to a man you respect so much. I saw, the post you made about him in letters to the government of Nigeria. So it looks like it's the chapter closed. And so let me digress a little. And I'm sure you'll be comfortable with this space we're going into. Maybe it's still early, Barrister Shittu. Maybe you think, you should still. But let's talk about it. And now, this is some slight conversation around the years. And I know very well what it means for Say Baba in 2015. It has always been a symbol after a Friday prayer, and you see hundreds of people following him even after leaving office as a president. In your own, maybe the 2017 election.
The APC has already come because nobody is God, and he never tried to play God. And high lives were tamed more than those of most other Nigerian politicians. He was just the next man. Politicians, everybody will try to look for what is in his own best interest. The man is no more, he has done his bit, he has left, and it is for other Nigerians to.
ABDUR-RAHEEM ADEBAYO SHITTU, the Honorable Minister of Communication from 2015 to 2019, for spending time with us on the show today. First off, I really wanted to have a first-hand conversation with someone that served in this, to your friend and, of course, your former boss tomorrow.
Thank you so very much. May God bless you.
And God bless you too. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You're still live from Mila 98.3 FM. We have a former senator that represented Lagos East Senatorial District from 1999 till 2003. Yes. Honorable Ogunlewe, he was supposed to bring up my guest. That's the former Minister of Communication as well. In fact, he served under Buhari from 2015 to 2019, where he also, when there was cabinet reshuffle, he was not reassigned. He also aspired to be the governor of Oyo State, and I'm sure it's an aspiration I still very much know. Okay, like I said, human beings would always have reservation about individuals, even the ones that are still asked after you've left. People would have to say genuine things about you. And again, I would always say that no matter how much the things are genuine, people would always still have of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. General Muhammadu Buhari retired. He was president from 2015 all the way down till 2023 when he handed over to his, party candidates, president-elect then, now President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And like they call by Babangida, jailed for 3 years, came out of jail, contested in 2003, he failed. In 2007, he failed. 2011, he also lost the election. I think on the platform of CPC then, his running mate, Charles, at the time he was giving that teaching, he didn't know that his friend was dead because he made mention of Muhammadu Buhari in that teaching yesterday after. I think with that, all private practice of law is being suspended in Nigeria. Well, they eventually ran on the same ticket for the CPC in 2011, and he still lost. And in 2000, he won for the first time, and in 2019, he won for the second time. So, like I said, yesterday, it wasn't just former President Muhammadu Buhari that died. Even the Awujale, Ijebu land, Obasikiru Adeton also joined his ancestors after ruling for 65 years. It was interesting times. Let's switch the topic a bit. Let me bring in, it was almost like a clean sweep. The 375 Fadashe joins me on the show today. He was an observer in the last election, and he's got one or two things to say about the conduct of the election, the turnout. Next to my other guest.
There were other ways, but there is not.
We have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you.
Is to know, Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say.
Give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions. Constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us now, there is nothing, we are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join Opeyemi Akinyode's governance and leadership every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial mainland 98.3 FM. We'll welcome you, roommates, as we discuss the situation.
We're now on the home stretch, but of course, beyond the death of the immediate past president of Nigeria, there was also another, administer leadership and governance on them at the local government level, the chairmanship position. And from the results that we gathered, the APC cleared all of the chairmanship seats and 7-5 and left only one. Or let me put it this way, the PDP won only one. He was an observer at the Saturday election, and I would like him to share his thought with us on the conduct of the election, the arrival of materials, the turnout, which was something that we campaigned for 6 straight weeks, as regards the need for Lagosians to come out and vote. Mr. Ebolaji, good to have you back on the show. You were with us on Friday, and now you're back to give us.
Thank you, Opeyemi, for having me again. I will say back to back. Nice to be back on your show. Very quickly, let me just say, I think the local government elections on Saturday was not far from our predictions that we had on Friday, people to come out to vote on Saturday, and I was on the street. I was observing for the Pentecost government and about 10 LCDAs on Saturday. First of all, I'm very eager. In fact, I'm sitting at the edge of my seat to want to know what the results maybe even be lower than what we experienced in 2021. Remember, I mentioned to you at your show on Friday that we had about 674. On Saturday, it was like nobody, just like nobody came out or wanted to come. We don't have confidence in the system. You already know who they want to choose and all that. The PDP, you know, and that was, it was PDP, and that was exactly the awareness was quite short. I think last second in all total had just barely about 6 months or so, 4 or 5 months to prepare for this election. So there was a lot of who are not aware there's going to be an election, be very poor. The ad hoc staff did not get there on time. Some of them even complained that they don't have canopy, they don't have anything, they're exposed to the weather and all that. So the materials didn't get. I'm not a monitor, I'm not even an extra, so we couldn't help them. They didn't know how to fill the forms. They had to start calling.
And those are the ad hoc staff of LASEC.
LASEC, exactly. The ad hoc staff of LASEC. You know, I think LASEC tried to do the best. You remember that there are about over 13,000 polling units in Lagos, all across Lagos. They tried to do their best. I remember the chairman speaking on TV on Saturday to say that the different PUs and all that. Some PUs did not open. You know that they had to collapse some PUs together. People had issues locating their PUs, you know, because it has been exist anymore. Some were collapsed. I remember I went to a place to monitor in Keja, the PUs, you know, so people were finding it hard to locate the PU. But the good thing about the election is this, it was not marred by any form of violence. Everywhere I went to, there was no form of violence or scratching ballot boxes or people in units that didn't have security operatives there at the time that we got there. You understand? And there was also some areas that had very heavy presence of police when it comes to local government. They have brought up the questions about issues like, for instance, some political parties came out and said, "Oh, they didn't find their parties on the ballot." Yeah, some say they didn't find their parties on the ballot, and they felt that they were disenfranchised. Is LASEC really, really independent? You know, there's something that the House of Representatives is currently musing on. That if you follow the news, they say that they want to. Yeah, they say that should the president now pick. They want to strip the president of the right to pick the INEC chairman. You understand? And that is what a conversation that we need to start having so that we can truly say that we have an independent commission in power. Or can INEC also be able to carry out the functions of LASEC and be an umpire for our local government elections? So it begs for many recommendations and reforms that need to go on within LASEC. I'll just stop that for now and we'll go to ask a question.
Okay. Thank you. I mean, you've literally given us a full report as an observer. I'm sure if this, and we've seen, some particular interest group, I think the Ohanese, the Lagos State chapter, has alleged that some of their members, as maybe some non-speaking Yoruba Lagosians, were not allowed to vote, and areas like this and that. And you also talked about the issue of low turnouts. My friend that works at, one of the daily newspapers just buzzed me up on Saturday morning, like, LCDA. We moved around those places, and I mean, apart from the fact that the road was empty, that would probably be the only reason why you would know something was going on. Some of these places, you won't even know there's an election. Now the APC had cleared all of the 20 local government and 37 LCDAs, APC, and of course the Yaba councillor was from the PDP. What would you think we need to do more to make sure that, because we were thinking cities, we had that 6 weeks of extensive coverage for mobilization for the election. What more do you think we need to do, Mr. Deji? People would use to vote and if you use to document these elections, how much more do you think we need?
Preparation is the key to success. Preparation is the key. Let me use myself as an observer. And this is not to shade anybody right now, but just for a day before the election that forms were given out for observers to fill. Most of us don't even know how to fill the form. It was based on experience that we have to start learning for observers, for some of these ad hoc staff. Everything was like in a hurry. Now, the reason I'm emphasizing this right now is because Lagos State is the poster child for other states, Opeyemi. Lagos State is the center of excellence, where good governance should be to get it right in Lagos State. So preparation, first of all, needs to have started in earnest. We can't start an election on the streets while always saying, oh, they didn't have time to even prepare. You understand? Because submitting the names of the candidates and all that, things also have done in earnest and all that. Then it comes back to the truly important. Going back to your question about advocacy, creating awareness, I think it still goes back to last year. Everybody knew that because most other states, they have 2 years, 3 year tenure for local government chairman. Lagos State, as a body, we have started preparation earlier enough, and that is wonderful. But there's still much more that needs to be done. We know that local government election was holding on more work that needs to be done on awareness. In preparation for an election that's coming in 2027 votes, you know why, Opeyemi? They have lost their PVCs. So a man came to the physically. Somebody came and said he was displaced. People have different reasons why their PVCs will be missing. You understand? Some complaints are there. Some people are going. So even now, as I'm talking to you now, Opeyemi, information is power. As officially, I said you have it. I don't have the official result for the Saturday election. I've called. They are not dropped because everybody is eager to see what the results will be. Even candidates have called us say, "Oh, there don't have to be a lot of improvement on creating awareness. There's a part of inclusion." You understand what I'm saying now? But there's something said a la carte. You have to be able to grab freedom. The fact that they have not done LASEC or Google start some of these people that are running for elections in your area. Ask questions to the necessary authorities that need to be asked. You have the right to walk into the commission and ask a question as a citizen. Am I right, Opeyemi? You have the right to do that. I know you have the right to do that. But if the body knows another, they will do whatever they have to do. But we also have citizens also have our own obligations to be able to ask questions where necessary. But the election, it was not too far from what we think. People say they're not going to come out. So it was not too far at all. So what we draw to Sᴏᴜ that we saw, not that we are calling, we were actually there physically. We were there physically on ground. They were not interested. They were not interested. It was so much that if you get to your places of worship, none of them voted. None of them voted. You know, if you make a post, if you do a post about local government, about that, nobody is bothered about it. But I think the next level for us, Opeyemi now, is the place of accountability for these people that are coming to power now. Hold them accountable to me. You understand? And not give them a. All right. Thank you so much, Opeyemi.
Very, very important. That's the key word, and that's one of the messages that we get to. Before I let you go, Mr. Oyegbolaji, let's talk about the outcome of the election itself. 20 local governments, all cleared by the APC, 37 LCDAs, APC. Is that much of a reflection of how do little or nothing? Because I remember as a build up to this election, Mr. Oyegbolaji, we had candidacy to PDP, to APC, every party we could reach out to. We had all of that. Local government chairman, them sounded pretty confident. Or the opposition could not just match with the demands of the campaign, or you think it's just people that don't.
APC has won all the local government. You have excuses not to perform now, right? I think it goes back to the narration I made in place to start your campaign. Some of these people are saying, oh, they didn't put us on the ballot so early. I mean, I'm not calling any party. I know how some of these people move people on the field. You understand what I'm trying to say now? So if it's child, you must plan, you must start. Yeah, we can all say, oh, yeah, we're going to win, we're optimistic. And these people now, this is 2025, okay, I mean, in the next 4 years, strategy must start now. That's for those who are hearing me. Your strategy must start now. Either you want to go for councillorship, you want to be a local government chairman, you have to start now, not in 2 years, 3 years. And diligence has a reward. It has a reward to it. Okay, let's don't mix words with that a lot. These are sown seeds. And therefore, you also have to get up and work within your target, excuse or not. It's 2 to 2. You can hold ourselves accountable. If you have recommendations now as a party, now, remember we said before that, making it easy, I can assure you that we have lost some form of revenue. Some things that we can do that, let us improve it. People can start voting a week before the major election. A whole nation, a whole state. Lagos is the epicenter of the financial sector. How do we vote? Do we shut down a whole state? I was on the road, Opeyemi. People began picking over. There's not people stranded at the bus stops. They just came into Lagos and they have to stay there. I mean, Lagos was the way we carry out that we improve. We hold that people that are observing better logistics, Lagos. Thank you so much, Opeyemi.
Thank you very much. I founder Global Leadership Development Forum. He was election in Lagos on Saturday. PFN. I would love to
have
your
a
evening.
Blessed evening.
And you too as well. SHITTU, the former minister of when they looked at the life and time of the former, now late president, Muhammadu Buhari from after being the second longest serving president in the history of Nigeria. And he died. So, some form of breaking news, the mini holiday in honor of late former president Muhammadu Buhari. So, the federal government president Muhammadu Buhari. But trust us, we are going to be here. This conversation, once again, thank you, Mr. The last state, actually, they said the big masquerade that conducted the last election. And I like how you responded. The opposition also didn't do enough to push their own conversation. Or you think they don't already write results. We don't already know who go win this and that. But unfortunately, I have a big responsibility ahead of you to deal with. The people, as you collect those millions from Federation accounts, you should be ready to be accountable to the people. So that every dime you spend, for about 30 minutes, and of course, Mr. Yebola Father, she was also here to give us updates on the Saturday, 15th day of July 2025, as public holiday to honor the. But I'll be back by 6 o'clock for Sports Cruise Live on Mainland Night 2. Now they are the FIFA Club World Cup held every 4 years. Clean sweep. They defeated the current UEFA Champions League winner PSG 3-0. 2 goal number 1. Finally, I won his first SW for Akaras, and then there was a comeback. Thank you very much once again. The local government election. My name is Opeyemi at Mainland 98.3. Let's do this again. Bye.